Okay, let's just dive right in. I want to start with a question, and, well, it might sting a little.
No, seriously, take a second and really think about it. When was the last time you did something with absolutely no agenda? Zero purpose, zero profit, zero return on investment.
And look, I don't mean something like binging a show to recharge so you can be more productive tomorrow. Because when you think about it, that's still about work, right? And I'm not talking about hitting the gym to optimize your health or invest in your future either. Even that, it can feel like just another project, another task to check off the productivity list.
So if you're drawing a blank right now, trust me, you are not alone. It's because we've all kind of started treating ourselves like smartphones. If we're not actively running an app or, plugged into the wall charging, we feel broken. We get this wave of guilt for just being.
And what's really driving that guilt? If you dig down deep, it's this unspoken rule of our culture, isn't it? If you're not useful, you are worthless.
But here's the wild part. This feeling, it is not new. This isn't some 21st century invention. I was floored to find out that this is a trap that a Taoist philosopher named Zhuangzi warned us about. Get this, over 2,300 years ago. Yeah, he argued that our obsession with being useful is the very thing that's burning us out.
And the way he explained it, it's just brilliant. He used this little story, a parable, that I have to share with you. It's called The Carpenter and the Tree.
Okay, so picture this. You've got a master carpenter and his apprentice, and they're walking through a forest. All of a sudden, they come across this absolutely gigantic, magnificent tree. I mean, it's so big, 1,000 oxen could hide behind it. And there are people just gathered around, staring up at it in awe.
But the master carpenter, he doesn't even give it a second look, just walks right on by. The apprentice is totally confused. He's like, wait, what? He runs up to his master and asks the question we'd all be asking. And the carpenter just kind of scoffs. He says, that tree? Oh, it's useless. Total junk. The wood's all gnarled and soft and twisted. You couldn't build anything with it. And then he drops the punchline, and that is why it has lived so long. But the story isn't over. That night, the carpenter has this vivid dream. And in the dream, well, the giant tree itself appears, and it's ready to reveal its secret. So in the dream, the tree lays out these two completely different paths. It says, hey, look around at all the useful trees. The apple trees, the pear trees. The second their fruit is ripe, what happens? They get torn apart. Their branches are broken, they're beaten down. Their very usefulness is what gets them killed. But the gnarled, useless tree, it's left in peace. It gets to grow magnificent and whole, all because it's useless. And this all leads to the tree's final, profound point. This is the absolute heart of the idea. It says, because I am useless to you, I am useful to myself. Wow, that just flips everything we're taught on its head, doesn't it?
Okay, so what in the world does a 2,300-year-old talking tree have to do with your life right now, with your inbox overflowing in 2026? Well, everything. Because Zhuangzi wasn't just telling a cool story. He was holding up a mirror. And he's basically asking us all this one question. Are you trying to be the apple tree? Are you pouring all of your energy into proving how useful you are, just producing more and more fruit for everyone else to come and take?
So what does that look like today? Oh, it's the constant polishing of your resume, the endless tweaking of your LinkedIn profile so you can be a valuable asset to the marketplace. It's being that person at work who just always says yes to one more project. Or maybe it's being the friend who accidentally becomes the emotional dumpster for everyone else's problems. It's all about being useful to others, right? Often at a huge cost to ourselves.
And here's the tough love from Zhuangzi. When you spend all your time making yourself into a perfect tool, you can't really be surprised when people start to use you like one. And that right there is the fast track to burnout.
So, how do we get out of this trap? Well, this brings us to the solution, the art of uselessness. And I know what that sounds like, but stick with me, it's not what you think.
See, in the Taoist sense, uselessness isn't about being lazy or just doing nothing. It's an active choice. It's about consciously preserving a part of your soul, your time, your energy, your creativity that is just not for sale. It's the part of you that can't be put on a resume, doesn't have quarterly goals, and has zero measurable KPIs. It's the part of you that's magnificent because it can't be optimized or sold or turned into a deliverable for someone else.
Okay, so how do you actually practice this? This isn't about adding another thing to your to-do list. It's a total mindset shift. It means maybe you go for a walk, but you leave your fitness tracker at home. You just feel the air, you just look at the sky, you don't turn it into data. It could be doodling in a notebook or writing a silly poem that you are never ever going to share. You're not trying to monetize it, you're not posting it, it's just for you. And maybe the most radical idea of all, it's about learning, even for just a few moments a day, to simply exist for your own sake. Not as a worker, not as a parent, not as a partner, just as you.
At the end of the day, Zhuangzi's whole message is about survival. It's about surviving in a world that always wants a piece of you. He doesn't want you to get chopped down by the demands of the marketplace or by what other people expect from you. He wants you to survive the axe, so you have the time and space to grow into something big and twisted and absolutely magnificent on your own terms.
And that really leaves us with one last and, I think, pretty heavy question. So let's just sit with this for a second. If you stripped away everything, your job, your bank account, everything you produce for other people, is there enough of you left to just enjoy being alive?
Subscribe for daily wisdom.